know what he was saying. He
What
was
was you
saying
saying?
that because he provides a service to women, they won't find anybody else to do it. They will rely on him, and now they're spoiled rotten. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like, how do you show up? That's why even if I do have somebody who shows up, I'm going to use AAA until like I like is desperate in emergency, because it is, you do burn out the man too.
Okay.
You're borrowing someone else's man, right? If he's supposed to be service to a community, a family, and a household, and I'm using him, where does
Hmm.
that come from?
Yeah.
Where does that pull from? If he has a family or if
Yeah.
he has another community.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I get what you're saying. So, Stacy, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey man, salute to you, good brother. There's been several times where I was doing my show and the people told me I needed to come to your channel and check it out. Content is hot, my brother. Content is hot.
Appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Uh, I think with a lot of people, I do a lot of research and study, and I think what a lot of us are overlooking, that I think is something harsh that we probably want to overlook. We're dealing with a very, very large mass of damaged individuals. You know, if you think about it, towards the turn of the century, before the turn of the century, we were an agrarian society where a child could look out the window and see his dad demonstrating how men get counted hands, see his dad, observe his dad in masculinity. Now, when we turned into an industrial society and men were leaving, there was no more. Women were watching the kids. What we are seeing right now is a bunch of men who were raised by women, and I call them soft males. We're expecting something out of a group of people who kind of don't have the capacity. The same
Yeah.
way we get on women, you must understand. So I don't know how old everybody is, but I remember what ladies looked like. I remember how they moved, how they spoke. I saw it. I was raised in my grandparents' house. But I think we take for granted often. Do you know how many people didn't see that? And
Yeah.
therefore can't teach their daughters that. What we're seeing, and I teach people this, ambition cannot be taught. It has to be a bug that is inside of you, to where you can't go a day without thinking about your business. You can't go a day. And I believe it's the same. And we've been trying for a while. My show deals with it, saying what we saw with Kevin Samuels. We're trying to dump data inside of something that does not have the capacity to register it. You know what I mean? As far as the protection, you're dealing with soft males. They don't even know how to be a man. They were
Yeah.
raised by women. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to end. I've always understood racism. I'm just going to be honest. In our culture, we behave in a way to where, let's don't talk about white people. Anyone observing us has great cause to be disdainful, to see disdain, right?
I agree.
But the thing is this. When white society sees us misbehaving and acting, let's be real, like animals, what they don't think is you have an issue with a monster you created or had a great deal in creating. And it's the same thing with our women. They have a great disdain for these men, but they raised them. 80% of the people who go back and forth to prison, who end up on the streets, and this can be proven by when you go to prison, it's, you know, they ask you this information. There's birth certificates involved. 80% were raised by women. So you guys created something you can't stand.
I agree. I agree. And I just want to say this before you ain't got to go now, but I just want to say this. I need you to DM me. I want to do something on YouTube, and I think you will be perfect for it. So make sure to DM me. I am _ Mr. Let Go.
I got you.
Make sure to send me a DM like ASAP. I wanna do something on YouTube, and So
Can I just say something, Aaron?
uh-huh.
Because what Stacy said really sparked something in my thinking. If I was her, in the coaching group, you know, you teach us, tell me more. I would have used that as an opportunity. I would have called AAA, and then the next day, every guy I contacted, I would have had a conversation with them. What? Am I not doing something to where you would show up for me, or like what's going on, or why you didn't think I needed, you know, like what was going on? Why did I get
Yeah.
that kind of response? So I could understand. Because like Stacy said, we have contributed to this. So we got to take a step back and understand instead of shaming and cutting off. And I want to say sniping our own nose, right? If we don't sit there and
Mm-hmm.
understand why we're getting these responses, we're just going to keep getting them.
I agree. Let me read these super chats and I'll go to Cookie. So, thank you to, let's see. All right. So Dana, you dropped a super chat. You said, how many times have we told you that we need to give a class on, well, I need to give a class on what protection, provision, service, and empathy actually looks like. I totally agree with you on that. Shout out to Delyn Turner. Nice topic. Need to be heard. And the infamous, hold on, what's that noise? Okay, never mind. The infamous one. Thank you, Dana. Well said. All right, so I appreciate the super chats. So Cookie, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm trying to figure out the age group that I really kind of have a question. Like the age group of women that we're talking about created these so-called misunderstood males that don't. I don't think the girl was complaining as much about them not getting up. It was the fact that a lot of them literally did not know what to do.
Well, let me answer your question because it's simple. That girl is about 25, 30. My kids are 20, right? Mid 20s. So my generation or I could say our generation and the generation older than us, 10 years older than us, our big brothers, big cousins, aunties, or whatever. So overall, we did this. Like my kids are not out here doing crazy stuff. Right. I am totally responsible for my grown kids. Both of my kids are straight. I know exactly where they are. I know exactly what they're doing. Literally right now, I'm all in their business. I always say I'm not in my kids' lives. I'm in my kids' business. So I know exactly what the hell my kids doing. I seen both of my kids 2 days ago. So I know exactly what they're doing, what they into, what they not into, and everything, right? So one of the issues is we have created these idiots and these monsters and these losers, and we are the ones responsible for these losers out here dealing with these women. So that's the answer to your question, Cookie, is us, our generation.
So is it more of a village thing? Because it puzzles me, because like you were talking about, like with your children, my nephew's only 15 and he knows how to work his way around a vehicle. So I'm just like, who's missing the mark? Is it like, you know what
your
I mean?
nephew had males around, I'm
yes,
assuming.
Absolutely.
None of these other men have fathers. Like I told you, one of my first girlfriends, I can call her up right now. Her dad literally would put me in a bay. All right, just do this. He wouldn't touch nothing. You know how when you pull a car in a bay and then they put the little things under the car to make the car go up?
Yeah.
I know how to move the things around. I know how to put them in the thing or whatever. And I know how to hit the lever to make the car go up. I know how to do literally everything in a bay when you get your car worked on, because I did that and when I was like 13, 14.
Right.
I changed tires, oil. I know how to literally take a tire off of a rim, not just change the tire and put it in the trunk. I know how hard it is. You got to take the crowbar and pry the tire off the rim.
You have to inch it off.
Yeah, I don't did that. I don't change brakes, oil, all that stuff. I don't change out an alternator before. I know how a valve cover looks without the valve, and I know how to put valve cover gaskets on. I know the oil and the stuff that you put on the gasket in order to put the valve cover gasket on, put the valve cover on. I know how all that stuff, electric drills. So These modern men, since they've been raised by women, they don't know how to do none of this stuff.
I also would like to add a point to it. On top of us, obviously, I'd like to blame the school system for taking that part of school out, because it used to be where you could go to school and learn about that, like in high school. So
I'm sorry.
Education.
I can understand you saying that, but I ain't putting no white person in the way and saying it's their fault. It's our fault. Ain't no white man, no white woman, because it ain't the teacher that took it out. It was somebody above. So some white people. So no, it ain't no white people fault why we trash. No, we are trash because we are raising trash and we are having sex with trash. We literally are raising little baby trash cans, running around dropping trash all over the freaking cities. Like, I'm from Philly, and I was just in Philly, and Philly is literally a horror movie. Me and my cousin was riding through. I literally sounded like a woman. It was like, yo, take me to my hotel. I don't want to be out here. See, hold on. Here's my child right here. Hold on. Hey. Hello. Hey. No, I'm on YouTube. I'm about to get off and come. You okay? Okay, I'll call you back when I get a minute. Okay. So, see, that's my kid right there. So the number one thing that I can only speak for, I would say from this point on, is me. You know, I'm gonna make some changes where I'm not gonna be running around being like, yo, you keep choosing these dudes, because to a certain degree, according to what I'm hearing from so many different women, different ages, that the men out here are trash and they're feminine and problematic.
And it's not so much trash, it's just they got the same programming we got in the household. So the
Yeah.
programming don't fit their system. They shouldn't be getting direct programming from their mother, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
Stacy,
mean, you definitely
Stacy,
shouldn't be co-signing.
that's what I'm saying, and that's the reason why in the last 2 weeks I lost about 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, because I went off on the red pill dudes and I said y'all are trash. Yeah, not trash, but y'all. I'm not y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, and I on a normal basis like to give an update. Hey, I am not red pill. Hey, I'm not manosphere. I want to be far from y'all guys because y'all are not me. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do that as often as I can. And I don't care about losing subscribers, because at the end of the day, I need men to know that there are different types of men out here, and I am not y'all. But go ahead, Stacy. What are your thoughts on just our generations being the ones that are making these little pookie babies?
Well, I've done the numbers and I've put simulated models together. It's not that generation.
Say it again.
I've done, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I've done the numbers. I've even put together simulated models. It's definitely, I didn't really have to do that, but I was trying to figure out. I like answers. I have to have them. There's a large group that the world seems to have problems with. So I started putting a simulated model together. It can't be. It can't be, because my children are very well behaved, right? It's not our generation. It's people who are 80 years old and under. It is your auntie. If the women who are on the panel right now, their aunties and their aunties' friends had the men who they're having problems with.
Okay.
You know, I've studied psychological. We, especially in the African American community, we have this thing that we're so visual. We believe if someone's not foaming at the mouth, if their hand's not crimped up here to their chest, there's nothing wrong. That couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. When you submerge a child, I call it 5-tiered dysfunction and psychological damage. We know that people can become products of their environment. So just for visual sakes, let's say we take Pukisha and we take Pookie. They have a child. That's dysfunction that this child is suffering off the top. Now, depending on where she raises that child in the environment, he's going to learn all kind of psychological damage, right? That's psychological dysfunction number 2. To not even have the parent in his life. If the relation, listen, I'm going to say it. This is just what I do. This is how I don't know how to beat around the bush. We're raising monsters and we're raising murderers and prostitutes is what we're doing.
Yeah. I literally said that we are raising the zombies. The zombie apocalypse is actually here. I was just in Philly. There's a zombie apocalypse in Philly. There's a zombie apocalypse in Chicago. So there's literally a zombie apocalypse right now.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Go ahead.
We have to, I have some major moves underway, I don't really speak on them too tough. I'm going to make a significant impact in the concrete before I leave here. And we have to understand epigenetics. We have to understand this. This is real live damage. It is real live damage. And, we like to look at, so I've learned to have, and no offense to anyone, and please understand that I'm intimately in love with my people. If I had to pay a monthly membership fee to be Black, if I had to, I would borrow the money. I love my people. We are seeing some things. What has happened is, until the internet came, we had Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake, Oprah, and we got to see what everyone thought about the men. For 40 years, we got to see, right? So this thing that's going on, and please believe there's some behind the scenes manufacturing going on with that as well. We're getting help getting into it with each other. We're getting significant amounts of help getting into it with each other. When you see people on TikTok or whatever, and it looks like Black men and Black women are in alive and they're apologizing for the roles that they've done, and this thing is looking sweet, you'll come across several profiles that they don't have a real picture, and they'll throw something in there that is a real issue in our community. Now we're back at it. You see what I'm saying? So we do have some external interference taking place. But if we don't understand that, I don't know how old anyone is, but do you guys remember where our parents and our aunties would say, and this was like said for us to be on the lookout for. And we still don't know what the after effects of the 1990s crack epidemic is going to be. We were just told this. We were almost told to be looking out for it. People, we've been walking in it. This is what we're seeing. What we're seeing from our women, if they wanted to, they couldn't behave like this. If they tried to, they couldn't do this on purpose. This is epigenetics, psychological dysfunction, layer on top of layer on top of layer. No dad in the house. Mom, and get your little bald head ass over here. Children aren't supposed to hear this. I want to say this really quick. You guys should really, really read this book. There's a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. These are what I refer to as life-changing.
Love it.
Life-changing. Hold
on real quick. Remember, I was like, do y'all want to go over this book called No More Mr. Nice Guy? It's about women. I mean, it's about men, but it's everything in the book is like centered towards women.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
And then we ended up doing the birth order books first, I think. And then we said we would go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that Stacey brought up epigenetics, just so everybody know we study that in our coaching group. We study epigenetics, and we talk about what happens, when generation on top of generation and those cells go on top of each other and all this stuff overlaps. So I do think it's very important for people to study that. And another thing you said that made me think about something I brought up. I always say to Aaron, we don't even need the crack anymore. These people just have the tendencies. They don't even have to do the drug anymore. And they can have the same behaviors of someone who is addicted. Poor money management, can't
Yeah.
maintain a household. You know, all those same things you would see if the drug was around, we don't even need it anymore.
That's real.
Yeah. So let me say this. Dana, name one of the books that we go over that has a lot to do with epigenetics. There's a few of them. All you gotta do is pick one.
It didn't start with you. The body keeps the score. Rewiring your anxious
Yeah.
brain. I think it talks about that a little bit. And emotional,
Mm-hmm.
the emotional children or adult children of emotionally immature parents.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, adult children of emotional immature parents. It didn't start with you was an excellent book about epigenetics and what happened to you. And what happened to you was co-wrote by Oprah. And sometimes we can see Oprah as an enemy, but Oprah, just put it like this. She tried to get in the way of the book, but she stayed out the way long enough for the book to be very insightful. But she was kind of in the way, but she stayed out of the way enough for the book to be super insightful. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Stacy. And I had to mute you because it's a little noise. But all together,
And you brought up
epigenetic
the newest topic you brought up, which is the maladaptive social
cognition.
cognition. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
maladaptive social cognition. A lot of these young people have social awkwardness and they don't know how to operate out in the world. And like when we were young, there was a who you looking at type of cognition where we can't even look each other's way without thinking somebody wants to fight us, right? So we had some of these issues, but now I think it's even worse because a lot of young people don't even go outside. Like we was outside every day. We learned who to trust, how to work together. You know, Stacy, did y'all build ramps and stuff for y'all bikes and build forts and things like that with wood and all that?
Man, you know what it was, man.
Yeah. So we learned to work together. You hold up this little thing and you know we built stuff together when we were kids. Cookie, you about to say something?
No, I was just saying, I do remember when all the neighborhood kids got together and it was like little, not gangs, but we were just, it was a vibe. We'd all go outside and we knew what time to be outside with our bike and we knew where we were going and we knew what time to be back.
Yeah.
Not everybody got along with everybody, but it was definitely a different time frame and it has completely disappeared.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So
You know, kind of what saved us though from those times is you didn't want nobody to mess anything up, so everybody went in the house. So it's like even if somebody got into a fight, you had conflict resolution. Like, hey, y'all better get along till 8 o'clock, because we if one of y'all go back crying, this is over. Everybody's being called back in the house. So let's figure it out.
Because if one person gets yelled at, all of us got to go in the house. I totally agree with you on that. But I think one of the ways we fight the issue that we have, which is the epigenetic issue, is we gotta promote going outside more. Like even with grown men, right? Grown men don't go outside. We don't go to sports bars. We're not hanging out. We're not being around each other. We're not, doing stuff together. I love like going out of town with my people, hanging out with my people. But I think too many of us just don't go nowhere and sit in the house, So real quick, somebody in the chat on Facebook said they would love to support. Let me see. Who was it? Somebody on Facebook. Oh yeah. I don't want to butcher your name, but it's Dafriki. You said you love the content, you would love the support. If you're on Facebook, all you got to do is go on top of the video that you're watching now, and the link to buy my card game is right on the top of the title, and you'll be able to check it out. So for those who don't know, I have a coaching group that I do Mondays and Wednesdays, and I got to get into my book, and the book we're going over is the Birth Order book. So we got to cut the live stream so I can get to reading in my book. And if you guys want to join, ladies only, I'll drop the link in the chat. But do y'all have any closing thoughts before we go? I don't even want to go. I might come back on afterwards, because this was a good conversation. Probably do a part 2. But what are y'all closing thoughts?
I think in general, if like sometimes when you talk about it, we need to stop you bringing in our own experience and co-signing for people that we have no idea what's going on with them for. You know what I mean? Like you said, that I don't think that you were delusional. I think you were being a little hard on yourself. I just feel like you were just like, that would never be me. That didn't come out of your mouth, but you were like, wait a minute, you're picking pookies, which is logical. But just like you just said, nobody's outside. Like nobody is. It's like a genetic weird mutation of sorriness. It's a polite way to put it that I just can't put my finger on. But now I know it's created. It was created by us, or like he said with his data. But I'm glad he put in the point that it's people in it. There are like these little phantom people keeping the fight going, and I need y'all to pay attention to that as well, because it's not just us. There's people that don't want to see us win. They don't.
Yeah. Stacy?
I want to encourage the women. So women are biologically designed by God himself, whoever you believe in. You are designed to be dope addicts for masculinity. You are designed to be walking around just like the crackheads we see in the streets, flipping over every rock, looking for it. It is what you're supposed to have. Unfortunately, what has happened is, since we have such a large variety of what I call soft males, look at it like a drought. There was a lot of builders, but then now there's a drought, right? With this thing called masculinity that women are hooked on. But what they've learned to settle for, when you're strung out on the brown drug, I don't want to say it, but it's HE, when you're strung out on that, in order to get you off of it, they give you a man-made manufactured one. And that's what women have done. I definitely understand. I live 2 sides of the spectrum. I know where I came from, and women have told me the things that they like about me. I'll be honest, I'm kind of very assertive, and I know my vision. I'm wading in the waters of my purpose daily, right? And women find that attractive. It's masculinity. But what women have messed around and done, dysfunction can mimic masculinity, but it's not really masculinity. Women desire to be put in place when they know that they're out of line. They desire a man who can get them from A to B in life, right? But when you have someone who will go off at the drop of, what the hell you say? That's not necessarily masculinity. It's dysfunction. So what I encourage you guys to do is, when you're dealing with these guys, you guys desire relationships at high levels. So you'll ignore red flags. Reach out to a man in your family, a man who you love. It can't be someone who secretly has feelings for you, because that will sabotage his true unbiased opinion. Take that man out with you. Take your uncle out with you. Take that man out with you. You should discreetly disappear to the bathroom for about 5 or 10 minutes. Your uncle is going to have information for you the next day, so you don't get bamboozled by your own emotions.
And let me say,
what's your rule? What's your rule? What do you always tell us?
Hold on. Which one? Tell me more. What?
No, about the men we're dating.
Oh, always go to a man and let him vet them. Because so Stacey, what what I do, I tell the ladies in a coaching group, if you're dating a man, bring him to me.
Right.
Let me have a conversation with him. It don't have to be your daddy. It has to be some man that don't want to have sex with you, that cares about you, that has your interests at heart, and isn't all the way biased, trying to get the dude out of here, and just have a conversation. Yeah.
Good stuff.
And how many have you got out so far? 4, 3 or 4?
4. I got 4 women. I got 4 women married thus far.
Oh, so you moving like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've gotten rid of some too, where the woman don't even date the dude no more because the dude was on some crazy stuff.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, Stacey, make sure to send me a DM because I'm working on some things. I got another YouTube channel that I want to start doing something different with. So make sure to send me a DM on IM_Mr. on Instagram.
No doubt about it. Hey, it was definitely a pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure locking in with you ladies as well. You all take care.
A pleasure. Thank you for everything you shared, Stacey, especially that last analogy, because I am a psychiatric nurse practitioner who works in addiction. So that analogy of needing a man-made drug to get off the drug of masculinity makes sense of why we go towards such dysfunction. Also, on top of damaged neuroception, we're having a hard time perceiving things as good that are good for us. So thank you. I got a lot of notes from the things you were saying, and I look forward to looking at your page.
No doubt about it. You guys take care.
All right, and do y'all know what the actual man-made drug that women have started using? Success. College. And they're not getting